So that's where I'm going to hit record, and then I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so let's see here. Also wanted to let you know, if you just are joining us, I did put the slide deck in chat. How Zoom works is when you join the Zoom meeting room, you don't see everything else that's in the chat prior to you joining. So some of you who've been with me here from the beginning this morning, you might see the link for the slide deck multiple times in chat. For those of you just joining us, you might only see it once or twice. Also, feel free to introduce yourself in chat. I know we've got people with different roles and different areas of the state, so feel free to let us know where you're coming to us from as well. So in the chat room, I put the link to the slide deck. So again, if you're new to Google or you might be kind of nervous or whatever it may be, all you have to do is go to open up Google Chrome. When you open up Google Chrome, go to a new tab and paste the link there. This is the link for the slide deck that I am going to reference today. And then just hit enter, and then I should have the slide deck available. It should come up here on your screen. So when you see this, you might then want to know, how do you access it later? So there's a couple different ways. If you look at slide number 2, I've got some steps here. Step number 2, it says, here's a presentation slide deck. It's the same link that I gave you in the chat room. And all you have to do is copy and paste that, like I just showed you, and then to save this, a couple different things. Do you see where it shows this triangle and the plus sign here at the top of the screen to the right of the title? That lets you add this shortcut to your drive. All you have to do is click on that, and then you can just add it to your drive from here. Or if you're a very organized person or like to be organized, click on the arrow, and then within my drive, I have folders. I have a Google Workshop folder already. Let's say you don't have a folder you want to put it in and you want to create one. You can create one right from here. All you have to do is come right down here to New Folder, click on that, give it a name. Once you give it a name, click on the check mark to create the folder, and you can add the shortcut there. So again, this is adding this to your drive so then you can access it after today. Another way people save this is to bookmark it. So to bookmark anything in Google Chrome, all you have to do is come over here to the right of the URL. This is the Uniform Resource Locator. It's the web address for this slide deck. Come over here and click on the star. And do you see how the star turns blue? And then I can put this to my bookmark bar if I want. If not, if there's a folder within my bookmarks I want to add it to, if I want to add it to my Google folder, I could do that. Right now, I'm just going to put it on my bookmark bar and hit done. When you click done, do you see where it says, it's got the title of today's slide deck, and it's here on my bookmark bar. If for some reason you don't see this up here, all you have to do is come to the right of your Google Chrome profile picture and hit the 3 dots. Anytime within Google you see 3 dots, that means there's another menu there. So if I go down here or click on the 3 dots and go down to bookmarks, and then I come over here and it says show bookmark bar, click on that if it's not checked, because if I click on it right now, it takes my bookmark bar away. So how do I get the bookmark bar back up? Come over here and click on the 3 dots, go to bookmarks, show bookmark bar, and voila, there's my bookmark bar. So that's another way you can bookmark things that you use frequently. So again, people have preferences. With technology, it allows for differentiation. You do what best fits your needs and how your brain operates and organizes things. So 2 things I just showed you: how to bookmark and how to add it to your Google Drive. If I've stressed you out already, put it in chat, let us know how we can help you, or just know that this is being recorded. You can go back and look at bits and pieces of this recording of what you need to go over, or at the end of the workshop, I can go over anything as well. Okay, so hopefully not stressed out. If you haven't been able to access this, again, we will help you, so don't panic. Also here on slide 2, I have a sign-in sheet. This is just like if we were meeting in person, you would have to sign in when you came into the workshop. Our sign-in sheet's electronic. If you click on this link here, it takes you to a Google form, and the Google form should look like this. Now, if for some reason all you see on your screen is my screen, you want to do a split screen, a couple things you can do. Up in the middle part of your screen, it should say view screen. You can exit full screen. You can, put it down to a certain percentage, and you can have 2 windows right side by side if you would like that. If you are fortunate enough to have two monitors, you could do it that way as well. Put my screen on one monitor, and then your tabs that you're working on your other monitor. If anybody else has other suggestions, feel free to put that in the chat as well. But I just glanced over at chat, and I appreciate the people who feel comfortable introducing yourself and maybe what your title is, or where you come to us from during this time of our online workshop. Again, if you can't access the sign-in during the workshop, you can sign in at the end of the workshop. That is fine. No worries. Again, not here to stress you out. We're here to help you learn more about the Google tools, and then if your goal is to take the exam, that you might be interested in taking the exam here within the next month. Also here on slide 2, we've got an evaluation. If you can fill this out at the end of the workshop, I would greatly appreciate that. Any feedback, I do try to take into account and change my teaching or my workshops. You will also get an ISB evaluation, usually within 24 to 96 hours. I don't know if one will come to you at the end after tomorrow's workshop, or if you'll get one for each day. I guess we'll find that out together. And then once you do fill out that evaluation, then you will get your professional development hours, which then you can add to your Ellis account. If you did have your certificate, if your certificate was set to expire here this June, I don't know if you've heard, they are extending that for 1 year to get more of your professional development hours if need be. I will also put a printable PDF file here. If you want to print this Google slide deck out, you'll have that available to you. The recording will be found at the YouTube channel here. And then one other thing I will talk more about later too is a Google voucher form. So if you do want to take the Google Level 1 exam, the Learning Technology Center has a voucher for you that is a $10 value. So if you want to take the exam, you won't have to pay to take the exam. You just fill out this voucher form, and then once you get the voucher form, you can sign up for the Google exam. And I'll touch on that a little bit more. So real quick, I'm going to check chat, see if there's anybody stressing out there about signing in or accessing the slide deck, or feel free to unmute yourself and let us know. And then we will get started. Okay, so a few people are saying they can't sign in. Again, if one of you wants to unmute and let me know, is it because I'm sharing my screen and you can't access your screen to then sign in? If that's the case, we can sign you in at the end. So again, don't panic about that. But to access the presentation, again, if you just go to the chat and copy this link here that I just put in there. And when I say copy it, you can do either highlight it and right click and copy, or do Control-C is a shortcut to copy. And then go over to a new tab. I'm in Google Chrome, and then I paste the link here in the Omnibox and see if that helps. Again, if for some reason you can't get it, we'll make sure you have all of this before we leave here today. If, oh, a couple people have said their school's not listed on the sign-in sheet. If you want to let me know, if you can send me an email or put it here in chat, and I can maybe get that added. If anything, if you want to put the ROE 17, if that's listed there, if you can put that down for now, if you want to be able to submit your form, you could do that as well. But if not, let me know and we will make sure we get that added. Okay, a little bit about myself. My name is Lisa Schwartz, and this is my 21st year in education. The first 19 years I did spend in the classroom teaching 6th through 9th grade and various subjects. So over the years, I did self-contained, math, geography, and majority of my time I did spend teaching computers and computer science. I did teach from the Microsoft platform because that's what we had available to us. The last few years, though, I was able to incorporate Google into the classroom as well. So we were using both Microsoft and Google and comparing the two, and had some great conversations on the pros and cons of each platform that we used. Currently, I am working for the Learning Technology Center as a regional ed tech coordinator. My primary goal is to give professional development, and I am working with 10 ROEs here in this green area on this map, and the school districts within those ROEs. So how do I come about working with those school districts? Usually just a teacher or administrator reaches out and they want me to come and help provide some professional development around technology to their staff or to their fellow educators. If you haven't heard of the Learning Technology Center before, here on slide 4 and 5 talks a little bit more about that. It has been around for 20 years, or over 20 years, and don't panic if you haven't heard about them before, but another great resource for you to get, technology PD and resources out there to help during this time of remote learning. And even if hopefully we do get back into the classrooms in the fall, some of these tools we can use in our own teaching in the fall when we're meeting with students face-to-face. So here on slide 5, I also have some links here about the different resources out there for the LTC, or the Learning Technology Center. So right here on slide 6, here's our agenda for today. And like I said earlier, we will take some breaks in here, have some time for questions and answers. And I want to let you know that I may not have all of the answers. I hope this workshop will trigger more questions from you, and we'll learn together. But that's one great thing with technology, is that we have to get, it's okay to be comfortable of being uncomfortable about not knowing everything there is out there. Technology is constantly changing. We don't have to wait for the newest updates to be pushed out. The newest updates are pushed out every day, whether it's using Google or some other apps out there, that there's updates can be pushed out at any time. And so sometimes that's pros and cons, but hopefully for the most part, we can find more pros in that. We are going to talk about why get this certification. Yeah, I need to learn more about Google Apps, but why you should get certification. I do have a presentation out there about the Google certification. So if you're brand new to the Google certifications, you can look at this slide deck. You can even go to my YouTube channel and look at the recording of the Google Certifications 101, I believe it is, on the YouTube channel. So if you click on these links, most of the time I'm not going to be in presentation mode because I'm going to jump over to the different apps. I'm not going to be talking to you. all morning long here from the slide deck. We're going to jump into the apps, but anytime you're in the slide deck and you're not in presentation mode, you usually will have to click on the link twice. So here, YouTube channel, there I did hyperlink it to my YouTube channel. I have to click on the link underneath it, and that should take you to my YouTube channel. So right here, I've got many of the workshops that I been doing since May. And again, I didn't record these in March and April. And you know, teachers were reaching out to me with little ones in the background saying, hey, is there any way you can record these? I want to learn this information, but sometimes I might have to go help my child or help someone else in the household that I can't, you know, I have to step away at different times. So if that's the case, that's why then I changed it up and I started recording these workshops. So if you go here and then the Google Certification 101, oops. Should be on there somewhere. So Google Certification 101. And if you're new to YouTube, you have an option to subscribe. If you subscribe to someone's channel, that means then you will get notifications of when that person uploads new videos. Do you have to subscribe? You don't. Right now I have 107 subscribers. So if I was looking at making money off of my YouTube channel, yes, I would say, hey, go and subscribe to my channel, because then I could show sponsors, here's how many thousands or millions of subscribers I have, and you know, maybe get some sponsorship money from them if they advertise on my channel. But I'm just in this to help you guys out in your learning, on your journey here of learning more about Google. So then I am going to talk about the overview of the level 1 training. And here are the apps that we're going to cover. So again, if you're brand new to Google, this might be overwhelming for you. I don't mean for you to get overwhelmed with today's workshop. So I am going to, you know, when I go over some of these apps, I'm going to just go over, you know, the tip of the iceberg on those. But again, if you want to go a deeper dive more, maybe into slides or Drive or Docs, again, go back to my YouTube channel and you can look at some of the recordings from other workshops, because our main focus is to get you prepped to take the exam if you are interested in taking the Google Level 1 exam. If you're not, that's fine. I've had many people come to these workshops that want to just learn more, but they're not interested in the Google Level 1. I've had teachers come that like, oh, there's a Level 1 exam I could take, and then this piques their interest and it challenges them to, oh yeah, I do want to take it. So again, whatever your you know, your agenda is for today, whether you're taking the exam or not, hopefully that you will come away with learning some new things and come away with more questions. So I'm going to go ahead here on slide number 7, talk about the Google Level 1 certification and the training site. So Google does have a training site out there that you can go to. If you click on this link, we'll see if it still works. If you ever see any links that don't work, let me know again, because technology is always changing and they can change the links on me here. So when you click on this, Google has a teacher center for you. Now, I will let you know this teacher center is out there right now. Google did come out with a new teacher center that, and I think I have it someplace else in the slide deck, that you can learn about. Some of it's very similar. The reason I'm still taking you to this one is because this one still goes along with the test that they offer. And this training today and these resources I'm going to show you is for the Google Level 1 exam. And the Google Level 1 exam that I'm showing you is, or for this prep, is for the exam on the Web Assessor account. And that On July 1, they're doing away with that and coming out with a new, using ProctorU instead of the web assessor, and it's a different format for the exam. So my suggestion and maybe goal for you is to have the exam taken by June 30th, if that is, you know, again, your interest in taking the exam. So here for the level 1 and level 2, they've got some training. So here at the fundamentals training, there are, I believe, is it 13 units? Yep, 13 units that you can learn more about Google. Now, do you have to go through this training before you take the exam? You don't. Again, it depends on your comfort level and your use of Google before today. When I went through this training, I was learning about Google on my own by myself, since we were a Microsoft school district. So I wanted to learn as much as I could. So I did go through all of this training. I've worked with some teachers who, you know, have been using Google for years. They realize they don't know everything, but they think they know enough. So what they did was they went through the units and only completed the exams. So let me explain this. So let's say, we'll start with unit 1 here. So you've got to choose an account. I'll just go ahead and choose the account that I'm working in, since that's the one I'm signed into. And how these units are set up is they've got an introduction, you know, what you will learn, skills you'll need, products that they'll cover. And then it takes you then to different lessons within this unit. So this unit 1 has 4 different lessons. So if I go into this first lesson here, it does give me an expected lesson time. Again, this could be more or less depending on your knowledge of Google. And again, it goes through it. If you think you know this already, you can jump down here to the lesson check and see if you know the answers. And so like question number 1, it says, let's do a quick check. Okay, which of the following has had a large impact on education now that the internet is so easily accessible? So if you think you know these answers, what you can do, go ahead and click on the one you think and hit check answer. And it says, oh, correct. I didn't even read the answers there, but if I, as you can see, even if I answer wrong, I can go back and try again. It doesn't keep, it doesn't record your answers. So if I went back to this lesson 1 and unit 1, I would go back through and I want to see how I answered it. So that's for each of the lessons, there's a lesson check. Again, do you have to do these lesson checks? You don't. So if you came here to the introduction and you said, oh, I think I know everything that's in this unit that's going to be covered, then I could skip to the unit review. So right here it says, if you already know this material, feel free to skip to the unit review. So you can skip to the unit review. The unit review is also right here. And here, when you do the unit review, it will tell you how many you got right, and you can always retake it again if you didn't get it right. So for example, let me just go and hit the wrong answer there and hit submit answers. And then it says, oh, you got a 7 out of 8 right. I got an 88%. I'm stopping for a second. Someone said you can only see the right side of my screen. Is that correct? Can you not see? Can someone unmute, if you don't mind, and let me know what?
Yeah, I could only see like the right third of your screen. Now it's maybe up to a half.
Ooh, is that everyone?
I don't know.
I can
okay.
see everything. The whole
I
screen.
can see everything.
Really?
See
Okay.
everything? Okay.
I can see everything. This is Kimberly. You're on the right. You have a little window on the right, and then your laptop screen is on the left. You can see the whole screen.
Okay.
I'm wondering if it's the way you have your screen laid out.
Could be. I have no idea what I'm doing. I think this is over my head. I think I may be quitting this before you start. So I can't even handle the Zoom part.
Okay, Susan, if you want to, after the workshop today. If you want to do a private Zoom meeting, we can help you out with that.
If it's not, everybody else is fine.
If not, Susan, let us know how we can help. And
Okay.
Oh, there.
I've got my text report here.
Okay.
Susan, did you get the entire screen now?
Yes, I have home-based tech support.
That's awesome. And hey, we're in this together. So again, you know, if you're not interested in this Google Level 1, maybe you can pick up some other tips today from some of the other apps.
Sure, thanks.
But again, if I stress you out, you know, with this remote learning, you can always mute me, right?
Right, thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you. And thanks everyone else for helping us out there. With the exam here, this unit review then, so if I did get this answer wrong, I can always go back and I could revisit the lesson if I'm not for sure on what the answer is, or I could go back and try again. It shows me, oh, that's wrong. So then I can go back and say, oh, is it YouTube? Then I can scroll down here, submit my answers, and then it'll show me if I got it right then or not. Again, with this unit exam, do you have to, or this unit review, do you have to do these? You don't. Google doesn't double check that you've completed this before you take the Google Level 1 exam. So all of this was under the training part. So again, depends on where you're at. If this is, you know, if you're all new to all of these Google tools, the fundamentals training's good. I know some teachers and educators out there just take the training just to learn as much as they can. And again, they don't have an interest in taking the exam. It stresses them out too much, the test anxiety, whatever it may be. But if I keep scrolling down here, so if I'm brand new to Google Slides, here I can learn about Google Slides, Google Docs, Classroom. So as you can see, there's some different apps out there that you can learn about right here from this Google site. If you keep scrolling down, if you're new to Chromebooks, here's some training for that. Keep going, you have all of this different training out there. So again, some people like this, some people don't. It depends on the type of learner you are, but just know there's multiple ways out there to learn about all of these Google apps. So then that's the training site. So my suggestion, go through that if you're, you know, for sure new to Google, if you want to learn more about some of the Google apps and you've got the time. Do you have to? You don't have to. This prep training that you're attending today and tomorrow, this will help you as well. We will concentrate more on like giving you some examples of scenarios that you might have to do on the exam. I do have a link here to the Google certification test tips. And again, for the Google certification test tips, here's, you know, with the exam, you have up to 3 hours to take it. Like I said earlier, it does cost $10, but if you fill out that voucher from the LTC, fill out that voucher form, you'll get a voucher, so you won't have to pay the $10 out of your pocket. You do have to have a webcam, a working webcam, because they do take photos at different times of you working to make sure that it's you. Once you do sign up for the exam, you have 7 days to take the exam. And then, you know, have a drink or snack there right next to you if you need to, because I've heard stories from different educators out there. One who says they got up and left their computer and ran to the restroom. When they came back, they were kicked out of their exam. I had another educator, she was a librarian who took the exam. She went out in the hall to monitor students for a minute and came back in. She was still able to take her exam. They didn't kick her out. So again, what they tell us is be prepared to sit. Some people can take the exam in an hour and a half. Some people need all 3 hours. Again, it depends on, you know, each person's different. Personally, it took me about 2.5 hours to take the exam. So again, the exam, it's in two sections. You have multiple choice questions, and then you also have like scenarios. So you have up to 25 multiple choice or fill in the blank questions. And then you also have anywhere from 10 to 12 scenarios or tasks that they ask you to do. And that's what we're going to cover today, to give you an idea of what some of the tasks are, and hopefully to make you feel more comfortable and relieve some of that anxiety that you may have out there. If you do pass your exam, the certification lasts 36 months. And then after 36 months, then you're required to do another exam just to recertify. They just, want you to stay up to date on the products and the apps that they have out there. If you don't pass the exam, again, don't sweat it. You can take it again in 14 days. If you do fail the second time, you have to wait 60 days. And then if you fail it the second time, you have to wait a full year. So again, some educators, they want to go out and take it, see what it's like, and they're okay. They are not under a lot of pressure that they have to pass it the first time. So feel free, go back to this link here, the Google certification test tips. And then I'm sure as we're going throughout the training today and tomorrow, I'll talk more about that. And then here, one other link here, the Google Level 1 registration site. What you have to do here is create a web assessor account. And once you create this account, then you will need to register for the exam, but you have to create the account first. Again, when it's time to take the exam and you need help creating the account or registering for the exam, please let me know. We can help you, or you can always refer back to this recording, but you have to create this criterion account, and then you will register for the exam. And then if you do register for the exam, don't forget to get a voucher from the LTC, and then you can use that so you don't have to pay the $10 fee. So you might be asking, why do I even want to become Google certified? What's in it for me? Here on slide 8, here's some reasons of why people became certified. Again, my main reason of wanting to become certified is so that I could learn more about Google and how I could incorporate it with my students. And again, I was teaching myself on using these tools with my students. So it was just my way of confirming what I know and what I don't know and what I still need to learn. So when I did pass the exam, you have to have at least an 80%. It doesn't come and tell me that what percentage I got. It just says I passed. If you didn't pass, it usually tells you what percentage you got, and then it gives you some suggestions for you to study before you take the exam again, if you so choose. But then if you do pass, you will get a badge. You can put at the bottom of your email signature that you're level 1 certified, level 2 certified, or whatever you may be. So again, it lets people out there know that you've taken the time to learn and to take the exam. Here on slide 9 kind of just goes over some of the things I just talked about. So if you do take the Google exam after June 30th, I did put the link in here to the new Google site. Even if you don't take the exam, you could still go there and see the new Teacher Center. So the Teacher Center looks a little bit different. Right now you can still use both. I don't know if they'll discontinue the other one. But here's again some tips, certifications, and different programs that they have out there. You can see other people's testimonials of becoming Google certified or learning about Google. So here again, just a different place, but very similar. I think it's the same resources here that you saw on that first website I showed you on the Teacher Center. On slide 10 here, again, here's the test overview. So you've got about 20 questions here in the beginning. That is always asked first. You don't have a choice. You have to do those first. And at the top of your screen, it does keep track of your time. So that's nice. And also another thing at the top of your screen, right underneath your time, it also lets you know if you're on a multiple choice question, it lets you know, hey, choose 2 of the 4 answers here from this multiple choice question. So I didn't see that the first time I took the exam, or I guess I saw it after I went back to check some of my questions. So when you're taking the exam or the multiple choice question part of the exam, you can mark any of them to come back to. Granted, you won't probably have time to go back to every single question, but I marked a few questions, and when I had time to go back to them at the end of the exam, I saw right underneath the time, it showed me, oh, choose 2 of the 4. So that made me a little bit more comfortable. I wish I would have seen that at the very beginning when I started taking the exam. Here's some Google sample questions that Google's provided for us as well. And then right here, someone who took the exam in March, so a couple months ago, they had about 10 scenarios, and the scenarios covered these different apps. So if you kind of wanted to know, hey, what am I going to be asked about on the scenario part of the portion of the exam, this is what it is. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and get into learning about the apps. Setting up for the day. If you want to create a folder, if you didn't do so in the very beginning, and you called it Google Workshops or Google Level 1 Workshops, you can create that folder right from here as well. Up here, if you did add this to your drive, you can move it to a different folder if you'd like to, and you can go right here, New Folder, and add it right there. So even after you've added it to your drive, when you have the slide deck open, you can even organize it in your drive from right here. Instead of the triangle up here, adding it to your drive, you can move it within your drive. So that's what that icon stands for. And usually when you hover over the icon, it lets you know what that little button or icon does. If you wanted to take notes from today, you could create a new Google Doc inside of that folder. Again, do you have to do that? You don't, but you could if you would like. You can, again, we've added these workshop slides to your drive, or maybe you bookmarked it. And then, again, if you didn't add it to a different folder, you can add it to a different folder here. Another thing here, if you go back to step number 1, it says make sure you know how to open an incognito window. So to open up an incognito window, we're going to talk about what an incognito window is as well. Come up here to the 3 dots. It's to the right of my Chrome profile. And when I click on those 3 dots, I've got New Incognito Window. And I click on that, and it opens up this window like this. So when I first learned about Incognito Window, I thought, oh, I see why schools block this, because my school account blocked this. I couldn't use the Incognito Window at my school because I was thinking incognito, that I can, students could go to websites that they wouldn't know about. Well, what incognito basically does is it won't save your browsing history. If you look right down here, it doesn't, save your cookies and site data. But your internet service provider, your school, they could still access what you look up in incognito mode. But if you've ever, shopped online for Christmas presents, or shopped online looking at airfare or hotels, have you ever noticed then later on you'll see ads pop up for that airline, or for a hotel in the city that you were looking at an airline ticket, or for UGG boots that you were looking at buying? Whatever it may be, if you're searching, you want to search in incognito mode for those things if you don't want those ads to come up later. Why? Because it doesn't save your browsing history. And on the exam, the Google wants you to open up the exam in incognito mode, because what they do is you don't even touch your Google Drive or any of your Google apps during the exam. Google creates a Google account for you just for the exam. So you don't have to worry about if your Google Drive is a hot mess. So again, you won't have to add anything or use your Google apps or Drive during the exam. So again, Google will ask you to open it up in incognito mode. So again, how do you get to incognito mode? It is to the right of your Chrome profile up here. And it's the 3 dots, and it just says new incognito window. Another reason you could use an incognito window is if you are sharing things with students or your staff and you want to see if they have access. So for example, when I shared this slide deck with you today, let me get the link here. I could see what it's going to look like if I shared it correctly, did the settings. So if I copied it and pasted it over here in incognito mode, it will show me if I can access it. So if I didn't do my share settings correctly, it would say, hey, this person would need access to the slide deck. So right here it's showing, hey, you can access this, so I did my share settings correctly. You might ask, how do you do your share settings? Right up here where it says share, if you click on that button, so the default for my share settings is the Learning Technology Center. It's usually your Google domain. So what I need to do is go click here. I could put restricted if I only want certain people to have access to it. Only people added can open with this link. But how I set this link for you guys all today is anyone with the link can access it. I can have it where you can view it. I put it where you could comment. So if anybody wants to put comments off to the side of the different slides, you could do that. Now, if I changed it to edit, that means that you would have full editing rights. You could go in and change anything you want. You can delete things. You can add images, text boxes. So I just want you to be able to comment. Could I just have you view it? I could have, but I like to put the comments there. If anybody wants to add a comment to one of the slides, I'm fine with that. And to add a comment, all you have to do, so if someone wanted to add a comment to the slide, all you would have to do is come up here and add comment, and you could add a comment off to the slide right here as well. So another way to collaborate without people changing the actual slide. And you can do this, you know, if you're in Google Docs, they could, you can give them commenting rights instead of editing rights. So then if I did comment here, the comment would go just right here off to the right-hand side. So at any time, if I wanted to, I could go up here and edit my comment. I could delete it. I could link to this comment if I wanted to as well, but you should see the comment here on your screen. If you don't see it right now, you might have to refresh your screen, or sometimes there's a little bit of delay here. But I'll go ahead and delete that. Delete this comment thread. Yeah, I can delete it. Okay. Okay, so a few people are asking how to set up a Google file. Okay, and you don't know where the incognito window are? Okay, can I ask a question? Are you guys in, do you have Google Chrome open? And feel free if you want to unmute yourself or put the answer there in chat, I'll try to look at it. But you need help setting up a Google file? Okay, so do you need help with putting this into your drive?
Hello, I don't see a way to open another screen because the whole screen is taken up with you. And then when I try to open a new tab, like with the plus, I just am on your presentation.
Okay, great question. So was that you, Ann, asking that? I appreciate that.
Yes. I
Okay.
have no other options other than to just be on your screen because I need to be doing this stuff while you're talking too, so I can play around, and that's not an option.
Okay. Yeah, I totally, that's how I learn as well. So if on your screen, let me stop sharing my screen for a moment. And when I am sharing my screen, in the upper right-hand corner, you can't see it since I stopped sharing my screen. There was a place where you could exit full screen.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and share my screen again, and let's see if you can see that here. And if anybody else wants to unmute and chime in, just let us know how you split your screen. Please let us know that as well. And once I've shared my screen, in the upper right-hand corner, do you see like a symbol? It's like almost like 4 brackets in the corner.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
No.
If you click on that,
No, I don't see it at all.
you don't see it. Kate, I think you said you saw it. How
Yes.
else could I describe that?
It's a box. It kind of looks like a box, but it's not. Yeah.
What is it next to or by so I can?
It's in the
read it?
corner, the right-hand corner.
I
Right.
just see your, I have the 3 dots and then your profile. That's what I have in my far right-hand corner.
Lisa, are you talking about the exit screen?
Yeah. So exit full screen. Thanks, Kimberly.
Yeah, she could, she might have it on full screen. If she hits escape, it will go out on also full screen.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, I didn't have any other options. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Kimberly. And see, this is what it's all about, guys. Everyone working together. I'm glad people feel comfortable putting it in chat, asking questions, because that's how we learn. And, you know, we might be, again, feel like we should know this already, but I remember sitting through some trainings and with using an iPad, and I'm like, I don't know how to do some of these things. So thank you for your patience and your questions as well. So Anne and everyone else, are you good to go? Did that help?
Yeah, except for the file part. I don't see an option for the file. Sorry if I'm dragging everybody else down, but
Yeah, I don't have a way to make a file either. I know a different way to make one, but not from here.
Okay, so you won't be able to make it from my share screen, but do you want to take time and get this in a new tab?
yeah,
And
my
then-
Google's is open, but sorry.
No, don't apologize. I've noticed that as educators, sometimes we apologize way too much. If nothing else, Anne, do you want me to go over it now or wait and show you at the end?
Oh, that's fine at the end, just as long as I don't need it, because I don't want to hold everybody else up, because I don't know how to, I knew some stuff on Google, but not some other stuff. I'm like,
Yeah. I
Yeah.
need to have it too, so.
Okay, are you okay with you? Let me show you at the end.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so make sure you stay on and you remind me here. And because I will be jumping, as long as you can, if you want to play around with it, that you can maybe go into Google Slides here. I think that's more important right now than necessarily having the slide deck right at this moment. So yeah, thank you for asking. And again, if people see questions being asked in the chat room that you want, that, you know, I'm not seeing in chat and someone else can answer, feel free to answer them as well. Okay, so I wanted to show you this here on slide 12 of us all interacting in a Google slide. So what I can do, if you want to click on this link, for those of you who can, if you can't, don't panic, I'll put it in the chat room and you can copy this link over. So what I will do here, I'll go up here to share and I'll copy this link here. Everyone should have editing rights to this slide deck. So what that means, let me know if you can, okay, some people are accessing it, perfect. Anyone on the internet with this link can edit. So let me hit copy and I'll put this in the chat for those of you who don't have it. What you can do, you can just copy and paste that. I didn't put it in a bit.ly link beforehand because I thought people could just click on it. And as you can see, people are coming into this slide deck here. And do you see you're coming in as anonymous animals? The reason you're coming in as anonymous animals is that I shared this link with you via the slide deck. If I would have shared this with your Google account, you know, through your email or through Google Classroom or a different platform, you would show up here as you instead of anonymous. So on your screen, you may see a picture of me, or you may see, you know, my initial L. I think it's the picture of me for my Chrome profile, so you can see who's working on it. Right now, we're just all seeing anonymous. So as you can see, anybody can go to any of these slides. So do you see here on slide 2, we have 4 animals on here? My suggestion, if you see an animal on a slide, pick another slide. Some people will jump to the bottom and pick a slide. And if you want, you can let us know who you are and from here as well. So can you accidentally delete people's stuff? You can. If you think that was you, you could always come up here and hit undo, and it will undo it. So take a deep breath. This is a learning curve, especially if this is the first time for some of you to work on a document, in this case, the slide deck that we have close to 30 people sharing. So again, we've got on slide 2, we've got Amber, who is starting to type on this. So if you're not Amber on slide 2, I've got 2 other animals on slide 2. If you can move to another slide. Again, look at one that there's no other animal on. How can you tell what animal you are? You usually can't, but right now this is Amber. We can tell for her. She's an anonymous kraken. I don't know what kind of animal that is, but I'll want to look that up here later. Or if anybody wants to look that up now and let us know, I'm interested. So how I got this is where you can put a YouTube video in here. You can put a selfie in here. What do you teach? I went ahead and did a template for you all. Do you have to do that? You don't. Even though I did a template, can you change things where things are located in the slide deck? You sure can. So again, if this is your first time on, you know, working with Google Slides, I'm just going to jump down here to slide 30. There's no animal there. And, you know, you can come up here where it says name and go ahead and put your name. Excuse me, sorry. And then where it says selfie, I can delete where it says the selfie here. And I can come up here and I can do a selfie. So how do you do a selfie? If I go up here to insert, and I go down here to image, I can go to my camera. Okay, my camera is over here on my other monitor. So if I wanted to take the picture, I can smile at the camera, click on this camera icon, and there's the picture. If I like that picture, I can insert it. If I don't, I can cancel. So there's the picture, I can insert it. A YouTube video, again, I can delete this. I just put this icon in here to let you know, hey, put a video in here. And again, I can go up here to insert, and I can come down here to video. What's nice about Google Slides is you can insert a video from YouTube by searching for it. You can go and put the URL in, or if you have it in your Google Drive, a video, you can put a video from your Google Drive in. So here, if I want to show you how to embed a playlist in Google Sites, I can put that video in that I created, hit select, and then the video is right there. What's nice if you put the video in Google Slides is it won't play any ads, and you can even start it at a particular point within the video. So I've got these format options over here, and I can have it start at a certain time. If I want it, the video, if I know I want the kids to see something at 10 seconds, it can start right at 10 seconds, and I can end it at a certain time. So as soon as I put 10 seconds, it changed it right up here for me. and then end it at a certain time. Again, let's say I want to end it at 2 minutes, put 2 minutes, and then it'll end it at 2 minutes. So that's how to insert a video. If I X out of this and I say, oh, where's that format options? I need to edit my video. All I have to do is make sure I click on the video. Do you see I've got the format options up there? If I click off of my video, I don't have the format options up there. So click on the video. I can go to format options there, or I can go to format options here. Again, multiple ways to do the same thing within Google Slides here. And then I've got my format options back. Do I want this video to autoplay when presenting? Okay. And then I've got some other options. If I like that, I can just close out of that. Then I can come over here. I can just delete what I don't need. I can put a fun fact in here, put what I teach here. Again, this was the template. Could you put other things in here? You sure can. But this was my way of you guys getting to experience sharing Google Slide Deck with other participants in this training. Okay. So a couple things. People are asking about the animals, and somebody's having trouble typing on a slide. So if you're having trouble typing on a slide, can you double check that you open this up in Google Chrome web browser and not in Internet Explorer or Safari or some other web browser out there? And then could you, another thing here is the animals. Do you see the animals right up here at the top of the screen? It's to the left of the share button. It's showing I have, you know, these 5 animals here plus 17 more, or 18 more now. Total viewers here. If I click on here, I can see all of the anonymous animals. If you want, the only way usually how you can see what anonymous animal you are is if someone else is watching you type and they can see. So Kate looks like she's the anonymous panda. So right here on slide 11, we've got 3 different animals here. So I don't know which one Sarah might be. And that's okay. You can be clicked on other people's slide, but just know, hopefully you don't go and type something. So here we've got someone put in a funny video. Is it Raquel? Am I saying your name correctly? Oh, and she's changing her name using Raquel.
Yes,
did you? I'm sorry, did someone say something?
You're saying it correctly. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you. So Raquel, did you use the, is it the magic unicorn?
Yes, I just learned about it, so I was kind of excited to show it.
Yes, perfect. What Raquel's using here is the Magic Rainbow Unicorn slide. It's an add-on. So that's awesome. How'd you learn about it, Raquel?
A YouTube video.
Yeah.
Yeah, Easy Tech Teacher, I think. She's really good. I've been doing some Google Slide stuff, and so she has some quick tutorials.
Perfect. Yeah, lots of good
Can
information.
you put her in your chat just so we have that as a reference point?
Sure, I will. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's one nice thing about this, that, you know, people can share different resources out there that you're learning from. Okay. All right.
Lisa, someone wants you to go back and revisit how to do the video again.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And yeah, and I'm looking in chat as well, and I'm glad people are helping out. So that's perfect. And, you know, again, depending on where you are in your learning, know that kids can help you out. You don't have to know everything as well, and let the kids know up front. But so to incorporate a video, all you have to do, you don't even have to have this marker here. I just put this picture here so people know to put a YouTube video there. I could delete that. And then I just went up here to insert. And under the insert menu here, this is where I added did a selfie, turned on my camera. If you can't add a selfie, that's fine. You can add another picture from your Google Drive or from Photos, or even by a URL, or search the web. So you have other choices here. The reason I like to go over inserting a selfie, because as a teacher, most of the time, I remember, you know, my kids did selfies all the time. I didn't know how to do a selfie a few years back. So I go to image, camera. You do have to make sure your camera's turned on the back end. If you're using a school issued device and they don't allow you to turn your camera on, then just wanting to let you know that you can do turn on the camera on, maybe if you have your own device. But sometimes schools block that. But right here then under insert video, all I have to do then is I get this insert video. I can search. So someone, I think Raquel had a Jerry Brooks video. So she could put Jerry Brooks here and search, and all of Jerry Brooks' videos will come right here. Okay. If I have the URL of a video already, I can paste that here. Or if I have videos in my Google Drive. So if I've done a screencast and I want to use one of those videos here, I can put that video in. That's my drive. I can even go to my shared drives, shared with me, or recent. But yeah, great question. Thanks for asking. Okay, so some people are having problems being able to type in this. Sometimes if you're outside of a different Google domain, so if I'm not in your school domain, some schools have it set up that you can't access and share some of these files. So for the people out there who can't access it, I don't know if you have a personal Google account, if you can try opening, copying this link and opening it up from your personal Google account and see if you have access to do it that way. But again, for privacy, some school districts have it where you can only work on Google Docs that are shared with you from within your school district. Okay, and Kimberly, thanks for letting me know. Did I miss any other questions out there? And Raquel put in there, thanks Raquel for sharing, just search for Easy Ed Tech as well. And then I also I did do a workshop over Google Slides earlier, I believe in May. So you can, if you want to learn more about Google Slides, you can do that as well. But again, the purpose of doing this is, giving you a chance to share if you have that ability to access this. And then, to see what it's like that we can share even though we're not, in the same room. So, and then we can learn about people from, other educators throughout Illinois and share resources. So lots of good information out there. Feel free, click on the different, the different slides to see who's all here in this workshop today. If we were in a classroom or if we had more time, I could also have, some of you go ahead and talk about what you put on your slide or share some other resources. But what's nice about this is you can see, like Raquel shared the add-on on slide 9 about the Magic Rainbow Unicorn add-on. It just turns any font into the Magic Rainbow Unicorn. It's, I guess, kind of after the name of the add-on. So you can learn about that there, and also how she put the link there in chat as well.
I have a question about the Magic Unicorn one.
Yeah.
If you're going to use that with your kids, is there a way that you can turn it on and off so they're not like playing with it until all, you try to get the kids to get their information in first, then you can go back and make your slides any fun way you want to, and because some of our kids become, hooked on let's play with the colors 9,000 times, and they have one slide done after, 3 days of classwork. So is there a way to turn that on and off so the kids can use it, say, at a more appropriate time at the end when they can go back and then make their slides all cool and everything?
Yeah, great question, Anne. So these add-ons, you might not be able to add the add-ons. It, again, might come from your Google admin for your district that you're working in. So when they push out the add-ons, they're pushed out. What they could do, they could maybe, if they go into manage add-ons on the back end, I don't know if it's just, if they can just uninstall it, but I don't know if they would want to uninstall it and reinstall it each time. Because if, you know, right now I've got mine installed, if I go up here, I can uninstall it. So I don't know if it's a quick way on the back end that they can disable that or not. Does anybody know that question? That's a great question, Anne. So Anne, I'll go ahead and, you know, again with the add-ons, usually when the Google admin for your district pushes these add-ons or extensions out, they usually just, they're out there and the kids can use them when they need them. So I don't think there's a way, if it's an easy way for them to turn them on and off if they want to mess with that every time. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. But as you can see there with the add-ons, again, don't panic if you can't add add-ons on. Add-ons are different programs that are kind of added on for Google Slides. Teachers or different people out there, like they want Google Slides to do something, so they figure out a way to do that. It's usually on the back end. Again, it's programming that these add-ons only work for this app. There is a Magic Rainbow Unicorn add-on for Docs. You would have to add that when you're in Google Docs. But the add-ons you see here, these I had to add on when I was in Slides. And right here, get add-ons. Again, you may not have access to that with your school account. Go over to your personal account and see if you have, you know, to do the add-ons. All of my add-ons, I only use the free ones. Some of these might have a free version and a premium version, where the premium version, you can do more with it, but it's at a cost. So, but the Magic Rainbow Unicorn Slides, all I know is the free version. I don't think there's a premium version to that. But again, usually with the add-ons, I only use the free versions of it. I haven't had a need to pay for any of the add-ons. Again, I can go to manage add-ons here. Here's all of my add-ons for my Google Slides. And if I click on the three dots of any of the add-ons, here's where I can uninstall it, use in this document, go to help or report an issue. So add-ons, again, don't be overwhelmed with add-ons. Once you use Google Slides more, then you can learn about, you know, how to enhance your Google Slides as you go through. But feel free, you have access to this slide deck here even after the fact. If you want to add this to your Google Drive, you can add it to your Google Drive. See if do you have the triangle up here and the plus sign, and you can add it to your Google Drive. Since I created it, it's already in my Google Drive and it's already in my online workshop, but I can always create a new folder from here as well. So take a minute if you want to add this to your Google workshop folder or just your Google Drive, that's fine. Again, if you're not understanding Google Drive, we're going to get to that here in a minute, so don't panic. Had a question here about going over to take a selfie earlier, and it looks like someone answered it. I'll just show you real quick. Go to Insert, Image, and Camera. Again, if you're using a district issued device and they've disabled the camera, again, try it maybe on your own device sometime. When you click on camera, voila, you've got the picture here. If I like the picture that's up here, I can insert it, or I can cancel it and retake it again. I'll go ahead and turn that one off here.
Lisa?
Yeah.
How well do PowerPoint presentations transfer to Google Slides?
They transfer. Is it always seamless? It's not, but it's better than having to recreate the whole entire PowerPoint presentation again if you want it in Google Slides. But yeah, it's doable.
How do you do that? Is it a simple matter of saving the PowerPoint in a different format?
Yeah. So in Google Drive, if I go over to my Google Drive here, I just come up here to new. I can file upload the PowerPoint and then yes, and then saving it as a Google slide.
Okay.
Yeah, great question. And Rich, I can maybe walk you through that at the end if that's okay, if you want me to.
Well, I've actually, so we went Google last year and we transferred all of our internal server files over to Google Drive, but it transferred them as PowerPoints. So they're in my Google Drive, but they're not saved as Google Slides. So I'm assuming I can just go back in and maybe upload all of those again, but as Google Slides the second time around.
Yeah, and when you upload them, let me show you here at the gear and go to settings. Convert. Okay, I guess I'm just thinking not in Google, not for PowerPoint, but what I can do, I can convert uploaded files to Google Docs editor format. I don't know if that would work for PowerPoint, but that works for Word. Microsoft Word can be uploaded to Google Docs right there.
So I would go to that gear when I'm in the folder where I have a series of these PowerPoints.
Yeah, maybe try PowerPoints. I don't know if it would automatically change it to Google Slides, but I know from Word to Google Docs it does.
Okay.
Yeah, great question. I'm wanting to try that now too.
Mm-hmm.
So do you see, yeah, I love questions because then, you know, our brain's going, trying to take in all of this new material. So any questions, comments about that Google Slides introduction? Okay. So if for some reason I wanted to transfer this slide deck or this slide deck over to PowerPoint, if I go up here to File and Download, so I can download this as a Microsoft PowerPoint. I can even download it as a PDF file, and that's what I'll download the original slide deck as a PDF file so that you can print it if you would like. But I can even do an image. So I've got all of these other options over here. A couple other things with slides, again, to share. Come up here to share. And this is, you know, whether you're in slides or docs, I can share it with people or groups right from here, or I can get the link. And if I get the link, I want to make sure, you know, I've got three options here. It's usually the school district I'm in. In this case, this is the Learning Technology Center's domain. I can put it restricted or anyone with the link. But then once you change this, come over here and you have options to change this. Do you want them to view, comment, or edit? In this case, I wanted everyone to contribute to this slide deck, so I wanted to give you editing rights. So does that mean, could someone go in and delete Amber's name on her slide deck? Put a different picture or video on her slide? Yes, that means they could. But what's nice about this, when you're sharing it within your domain, if you're in your classroom of students, you can see version history. So if I go to File, Version History, what this will allow me to do is it would have everyone who is editing this file, it would have their names up here. Right now it's all showing you anonymous because I shared this with you through a link within the slide deck. But if I share this with your Google account, your name would be there instead of you being anonymous. Right here it says there was a total of 91 edits. It would have the date and time that you edited this. So the current version right here, I've got all anonymous users, and then it's got my name, but then I can name this version. I can make a copy of this if for some reason I need to say, hey, you know, let's say Amber says, well, I worked on that last night and now my work's not there. We can kind of go over here to version history to see if she really did. But again, that's when you're sharing it within your own domain. And when I say domain, it's, like the domain I'm in is the Learning Technology Center, ltcillinois.org. It would be your school district. If you go back here to slides 13, here's some other links here that if you want to learn more about slides, feel free to go to. So right now, mainly during this presentation, I'm not in presentation mode. So if I wanted to be in presentation mode, all I would have to do is come up here and hit present, or I can click on this down arrow. I can put from beginning, or I could have the presenter view. So I could do any three of these. I'm just going to go up here and hit present. And when I hit present, I get a toolbar down here. So if I click on this tips toolbar, there are some shortcut keys that you can use while you're in the presentation mode. I've got press B or W to mute the screen. What that does, it just, if I needed to get everyone's attention, I can press B and it turns everyone's screen black. To get that back, all I have to do is hit escape and it comes back. Again, if I click on W, it gives a white screen, and then, I can click escape to get that back. Another thing here, I can turn on the pointer so you can see where I'm pointing to on the screen. I can, if I have notes, I can turn on the notes. And the notes could be there on the screen as well, and it opens up a new tab. I can also, let me turn off this pointer here. I can also turn on closed captioning. What closed captioning does is everything I say will be put on the screen. Now, it won't save to the screen unless if I'm using Screencastify or another screen recording app out there. Right now, it's at the top of the screen. If I want it to go to the bottom of the screen, I can click on this arrow right here and to the right of closed captioning, and I can put it to the bottom. I can also change the text size. So again, this allows for differentiation so that students who might not listen very well or have a disability, they can read it on the screen. As you can see, it doesn't put a period or capitalization. It just puts everything that I say. Again, right here, I've got slide 14. If I click on this arrow right here, I can go to different slides. I can maneuver by clicking on this to go to the next slide. I can advance to the next slide by clicking on this arrow right here. One thing, do you see how some of these slides have a title and some don't? Let me show you how to get around that. So if I go up here to the slide and apply layout, if I for sure want the title to be there, I need to choose a slide layout that says title. So I think there are, how many are there? Maybe 7. That if I choose any of these layouts that say title at the top, it will put the title on the slide for me. So again, that was in presentation mode, and that lets me then see the title of the slide. Why would I want to see the title of the slide? If I want to jump around or even sometimes hyperlink the slide. So right here, the Slides Carnival, I hyperlink this out to the web page of Slides Carnival. Here, again, hyperlinked out to someone's blog out there. But if I want to hyperlink within the slide deck, I could, let's say I had a slide that talks about inserting audio files. I can hyperlink within the slide deck. Again, how to hyperlink, you can come up here and click Insert Link. I can come over here, hit Insert Link. And do you see when I do that, I'm currently using a MacBook, and it shows me the shortcut keys. Do I have the shortcut keys memorized? The only ones I have memorized are the ones I use frequently. Insert Link is I use daily, multiple times a day. So I've just gotten used to memorizing that shortcut key as Command K on a Mac. On your computer, if it's a Chromebook, or Windows device, it's Control K. Right here, I can link. I can put a link to, like I did, to another web page or a blog, whatever it may be. I can put it to a doc. I can also put a link to slides in this presentation. So if I want this link to go to the next slide, I can do that. As you can see, I've got some built in. But if, again, do you see where I've got some that have a title on it and some don't? So if you are linking to different slides in your slide deck, you want to make sure you create the template or the slide arrangement to have a title in it, so that the title box then will go, whatever you put in the title box will go right here to the right of the slide name. Slide 15. So if I go to slide 15, you can see I did not use, I used the bullet layout. So if I went up here and put title and body, what I can do real quick, come here and let's see, it might not work with all these text boxes here. I mean, it'll work, but it might just take me a minute. As you can see, you can get kind of confusing with all the text boxes, but I can just highlight this, and if it lets me, I can, let's see, there we go. I'll highlight it. I'm going to delete this text box. Then with this text box, this has title in it. I'm going to paste my title in here, search skills and Chrome basics. So then what's going to happen here, I've got another, let me delete that text box. So to delete a text box, I can just make sure I've got it highlighted, and I can hit the delete key as well. So then if I go back here and hyperlink to, let's say, slide 15, slides in this presentation, slide 15 should have the title by it right now. And it does. Why? Because I chose the title for the slide, and I put in search skills and Chrome basics in that. Again, it might not make sense to you right now because you've never thought of that before or haven't had a need to do that. Again, you can always Google it or come back to this recording to look at this again. Another thing I want to show you is inserting audio files. This is one thing that hasn't always been so easy to do with Google Slides. They haven't always had it available. Within this past year is mainly off and on when they've incorporated it. With Microsoft PowerPoint, I can always remember inserting audio has always been there. So to insert audio, you could go to Insert Audio. And I have to have audio in my drive. And if I've got, you know, this audio right here, I can click on it, hit select, and it will insert the audio here. So right now it shows I have 2 audios. Again, when I've clicked on the audio here, okay, it comes up format options over here. Again, if I accidentally X out of that, how do I get that back? As long as I'm clicked on the audio, then I can come up here to format options, and it gives me for the audio to start playing on click automatically, or I have all of these other options over there. So why might you use Google Slides? Again, how we introduce ourselves in that collaborative Google Slides we did a few minutes ago. That's a great way for students or even staff to introduce themselves, because not everyone likes to speak up, but they might, you might get to learn about someone by what they put on a Google Slides. But it's also a good teaching moment about digital citizenship, about, you know, everything you put on there everyone else can see, and about how you can edit or delete other people's work in there. But then it's also a good teaching moment to teach about version history, to say, hey, we can see when you edited this, the date, the time. We can see, hey, you put a silly picture on Amber's slide deck. You know, you can see everything they do. It's Big Brother's always watching them. Here's also,
this is Raquel. Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, you sure can.
When you're in presentation mode with the slides, how can you see the notes at the bottom without the audience seeing them?
Oh, these notes here.
Yeah.
In the presentation, let me get to the present. I want to say no.
Okay.
If I go over here to the notes section, yeah. So do you see when I go to the notes section, you know, I see the notes that I have there. There's, Raquel, go ahead and ask that question again.
So when I'm presenting professional development or presenting to the students even, and I have typed speaker notes at the bottom, you know, in PowerPoint, you can see the speaker notes on your main computer, but when you're presenting it onto a screen, then the audience doesn't see the notes. Is there a way to do that with Google Slides?
Not that I'm aware of. Great
Okay.
question. If there is, I haven't figured it out. And if you figure it out, let me know too. But
Okay.
that's one thing we'll find. Some things that we're used to with PowerPoint, we don't have with Google Slides. Because even just with the audio, I couldn't believe audio was within this past year that it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Great question. And again, I appreciate people asking questions in chat and other people stepping up and helping answer those. But yeah, feel free to unmute yourself as well. But if you go back here then to slide 14, this talks about, here's a sample template. Again, lots of resources out there, you know, just if finding the time to look at all of the great things out there that we can do in our classrooms with technology. Also another link here, 25 ways to use Screencastify with Google Apps and how you can use it with Google Slides. Put that in there. Again, I know I'm doing 2 workshops this week on Screencastify if you want to learn about that. I think the workshop this afternoon is full, but the one on Friday, I don't think is full yet. So if you go to the LTC workshops, you can see the registration link. If you don't know where that's at, let me know at the end and I can show you that as well. And I think that workshop on Friday is free as well. So, but can you learn and, you know, Google it out there on the website? You sure can. So just like anything, if you've got the time and kind of have the direction of how to find some of these resources, the learning is limitless out there. All right, so what we're going to do, it is, oh, it's 10:30. Okay, so what I was hoping to do, we'll take a break here. When we come back from break, so I had the break, I was going to do it later. We'll move the break up. When we come back to break, I've got a lot to cover. I've got some Google Chrome basics, Drive and Docs to cover today as well. So it's just like in the classroom, you have a plan of what you want to get covered. Do you have time to get everything covered? Sometimes it goes over into the next day. So we'll take a 10-minute break here, come back at 10:42. In the meantime, with the break, if you don't need to take a break or anything, feel free to look at the slide deck, look ahead and see if you have questions. If people want to stay around to ask questions, answer questions, feel free to do so. But I do want to honor everybody's time here and give everyone a break that may need it. So we'll meet you back here at 10:42. Hopefully taking a deep breath here and you can think back the last hour and a half that learned some new things here. Let me go ahead and share my screen. So again, if you, I didn't say this at the beginning, but you know, if you are new to Google, some of the things to learn, anytime you see a gear or 3 dots for some of the apps, know that there's other menus, other options under those menus. So the gear, it's what I showed earlier with when Rich asked the question about Google Drive, and or these dots when I showed you the Incognito window and bookmarks. There's other things there. So again, there's so much out there to learn. Take baby steps. Don't, you might feel overwhelmed. It's okay, but hopefully you will get more comfortable not knowing everything and being okay with that. As you can see today, people have asked questions and I don't know all of the answers, but hopefully then you can see we can ask each other. That's why I love having this chat in here with this workshop too, that people can have a discussion right along in this workshop and help each other. And then also, we can Google the information, Google the question out there to find. Here on slide 15, I did have some other links here that people can look at. Feel free to look at, during the training if you would like, or after the training. So feel free to have that. Again, you will have access to this all later. So, again, I hope this training will get some of your questions answered, and then also you will create more questions that you have from today's training. And that's okay. That's how we learn. So take a deep breath, and we are going to go ahead and start in on search skills and Chrome basics here. And, some of you, I said at the very beginning to use Chrome, the Chrome web browser, when you open up Google Slides. And the reason being here is they play together nicely. And what I mean by that is all of the features and tools, maybe in Google Slides, will work in the Google Chrome web browser. I know someone had a problem with something working in the beginning, and I asked them, hey, are you in the Google Chrome web browser? There is a reason behind that. In Google Docs, I had a teacher and a student using Google Docs, and in Google Docs, you have the option where if you're not a very good typist, you can have, have the voice typing. Everything you say, it will type for you. Well, that feature was not working for this child. So I told the teacher, hey, check to see if you opened up Google Docs in the Google Chrome web browser. Sure enough, she goes, oh, I had Safari open. Not all of the tools and functions within these apps will work in other web browsers. They will always work in the Google Chrome web browser if there's no glitches out there. So that is, a big reason of using Chrome, because it's the Google Chrome web browser, and then all of these apps we're using are the Google apps. So they talk nicely, play nicely with each other. The Omnibox, I did mention 1 or 2 times in the beginning. Again, some of you might have missed that or thought, what the heck is the Omnibox? The Omnibox is right up here. It's where we type in the URL. Again, the URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator. Do you have to know that? No, you don't. It's just me knowing what some of these things stand for, because I'm always asking questions. Why? Well, what does that mean? So that's why, personally, I do love questions. So thank you for asking your questions in the chat, and I appreciate Raquel and everyone else stepping up and helping out as well. The web store. So Raquel showed us that she used the add-ons or the Magic Rainbow Unicorn add-on to change the font, and lots of different add-ons out there. Want to show you that if I go to a new tab here, I have a bookmark up here of the apps. So this is another way I could get to the apps. If I go to the web store here, if you don't have this bookmarked up there, it's just chrome.google.com. And you can see different extensions out there that you can use. So again, we're just touching on this. If you are brand new to this, I think I have a link in this slide deck to describe the difference between extensions, add-ons, and apps. So here's where I can get extensions. I can also get themes from here. So you might see people have different themes for their Chrome browser. This is where they get the different themes out there as well. So this is the Chrome Web Store, and you can go chrome.google.com. How do you learn about these different extensions? You know, either from videos that you might watch or from workshops that you attend to see, you know, of how they can work. And these extensions right up here only work on this Google Chrome web browser here that I have. And all of the extensions that I've added here, I have to add them to all of my profiles. So right now I am in my work profile account. So that means my Google Chrome profile account. If I switch over, like I switched over to my personal account earlier, I have different Chrome extensions there and maybe some similar ones that I have on my work account. I have to go to the Chrome Web Store and add those. Most of the Chrome extensions I add are free. Again, some of them have a paid version of them as well. You just need to learn about that. And it usually will tell you once you go into the extension, and it tells you what's free and what's not. Again, if you can't add extensions on your school account, don't panic. Go to your personal account and learn about extensions that way if that's something you want to learn about. But what the extensions do, they manipulate the web page to, it does another function. So some of these extensions, like this one, it will share this web page to Classroom. The kids would also have to have this extension if you use Google Classroom. I've got my Bitmoji extension up here as well. So again, that's a whole nother workshop is on extensions. So we can talk about that. I did one workshop earlier during this remote learning, but we didn't record it. So I know there's been an ask of to learn more about extensions and to do another workshop sometime. Search skills. So when I am in, or you know, before I get to there, I told you about the link right here. I've got a link in, to Eric Kurtz's Differences Between Apps, Add-ons, and Extensions. This is worth your time to take a look at. Could I recreate this? I could have, but why? That's another thing with technology. What we are seeing right now is in the world of education, tons of people are sharing things out there for free. Just make sure you give credit to them. So again, could I have created what Eric Kurtz created? I could, but he's allowing me to share this for free. Just make sure I give him credit. This explains the difference between extensions, web apps, and add-ons. I highly encourage you to take a look at this to learn more about that if you don't already know. And don't panic if you don't know anything about this. I remember when I was teaching, I didn't know much about extensions and add-ons because our school district blocked that. Me as a teacher couldn't add it, but if I let my Google admin know, hey, could we try this extension? And can you push that out to teachers and the students? After having conversation about it, they would normally push that out so that we could have that tool for the students, because again, this allows for differentiation. There's even an extension out there that will read the website to you. There's an extension out there that will take off all of the ads from the website, so it's not so distracting for you and the students. So take some time to go to look at this link, and it is here on slide 17. Here it talks about, you know, the differences between apps and extensions. And the apps we're going to cover today, if you're in the Google Chrome web browser and you come up here and hit New Tab, all of the apps should be up here in this waffle. And this waffle has the apps. You may or may not see all of the exact same apps that I have. Again, your Google admin has control over that, of what they push out. So if your school district has a policy that you can't use Google Meet, you may not have access to Google Meet on your work account. So go and try your personal account if that's something you want to learn about. Some school districts don't use Google Classroom as an LMS, they use something else, so they don't push that out and give teachers access to Google Classroom because they want their teachers to use the other LMS that they have decided upon. Within these apps over here, so how did I get to these apps? I go to the waffle. I was in my Google Chrome web browser. I just came up here and hit new tab. And, you know, let's say I use Jamboard a lot. So what I could do, I can move these apps around here. Again, don't panic if you don't know about all of these apps. You can, you know, check out my workshops on my YouTube channel, or like Raquel said earlier, Google it, or I think she put in the chat another person to find out about it. Eric Kurtz, that website I shared of the differences between apps, extensions, and add-ons, he has a plethora of material out there too. So again, we have all of this learning at our fingertips. It's just when we need to know it, we can find it out, and when we have the time. So if I go back here, so that was apps, was under the waffle, and then the extensions are up here to the right of the Omnibox. And it's called the Omnibox because not only can you just put in a URL there, but you can search for things. You can search for conversions. You can, if you look over here on the right-hand side, I can put a timer in, I can translate, I can have it roll a dice. So if I go up here to a new tab and I put roll a die, it comes up with, here's a dice. I can choose what kind of dice I want. If I click on this drop down arrow right here, here's some other tools that I can have access to. I can flip a coin. I can do a spinner. So if any of you guys are missing the days when we had these fidget spinners in the classroom, you can come up here and turn it to a fidget spinner and spin it, play around with it, whatever. Or if you miss it, there you have it. If you have, you know, students that you want to choose from, here's a wheel size. You can do the wheel size, I think, up to 20. So normally in my classrooms, I had 30, 33 kids. So sometimes this wheel spinner didn't work. But again, if you have something that you have 20 or less, that would work. So again, you can go to these tools. How I got to this one is when I typed in roll a die, it came up the other tools. I'm sure if you type in Google Tools, it can come up. Also, here's another tab, Game and Toys. So if you see some kids playing Pac-Man, once we get back in the classroom sometime, they may be going to some of these games here under, when you go to this, when you search tools, you might also go to Game and Toys. You can also probably search the Google Game and Toys here as well. So again, multiple ways to get to the same thing, but here's some other things. We talked about going incognito. I don't think I've talked about pinning a tab. So up here on my tabs, you see some of the tabs have names on them and some don't. So the ones right here to the left, I pinned. The reason I pin is so I don't accidentally close them. And even when I close out of, I shut down my computer or restart it, my pin tabs come back. But I usually have my chat open. I've got my email open if I'm working on some forms or the slide deck, my calendar open. So as you can see, I have how many is that? Is that 8 or 9 tabs that I have open up there? And as you can see, as I've gone through this workshop this morning, I've opened up a lot of tabs here. Whoops, I just hit stop share, sorry. And so if I wanted to, I could close all of these tabs. So how do I pin, how do I close tabs, multiple tabs at once? If I right click on any of these tabs up here, I have another menu. So here's how I can pin a tab. So if I pin the tab, it takes the name off of it. It frees up some real estate on my, up here with my tabs. If I want to unpin it any time, I can. If I want to close it, I can even close it when I pinned it. But if I unpin it, then here's my X and I can, close it that way as well. If I want to close all of these tabs to the right of this tab, I can do that, or close all other tabs. So again, you've got other options there on your tabs here, but that's what I do with pinning a tab. On the exam, they will ask you usually to pin the tab so you don't accidentally close out of the exam. If you do close out of it, they say you usually have about 5 minutes to get back in, but I didn't want that to be, you know, stress me out by me accidentally closing out of it, so I made sure I pinned the tab up there. Another thing here, search skills. So if I am searching for, let me search for the Cathedral of Notre Dame, and if I wanted to learn about, you know, the fire or anything, you know, in a particular time period about Cathedral of Notre Dame, if I go right up here underneath the search here, I go to Tools. If I click on Tools, then what that will allow me to do is, right now I've got it searching anytime, but if I go to all, if there's a certain time period I want, I can look within the past 24 hours or the past week. So if there's, you know, an earthquake happening or a volcano eruption, you can see and just search within a time frame here. I can see all results here if I want, or verbatim. I've got that as well. Images. If I click on these different tabs here, then I have some different tools available to me. So right now I've clicked on images. If I go to tools, here's the other options I have. I can go to type. If I want only clip art or line drawing, if there's a certain size or color I want, whoops. Size or color, usage rights. So if I want to be able to reuse this in a slide deck or in my classroom, I've got the different rights here that I can use. Time frame. So if there's a certain time frame, again, of this image, if I want to look, then I can do that. So, you know, when the Cathedral of Notre Dame caught on fire, and if we were looking at that exact week, we could do the past week or past 24 hours. Again, news, you know, up to date, go to tools, and here's all the news, recent, sort by relevance. So anytime you see that drop down arrow, that you've got other options there, you can filter it more. Videos, I love this videos one, because usually with videos, showing videos in the classroom, you know, the attention span, whether it's of students or teachers, I can go right here and search videos, and any duration, I can search for 0 to 4 minutes or medium or long duration here. So again, I've got some other filters here that I can click on, and I can even filter within those filters. So that was when you're searching for anything. If you go to tools, you have more options under there. Okay, here on slide 18, I've got a challenge here, and based off of, you know, how this workshop's set up, we've got about an hour left. So what I'm going to do with this challenge, some of you, again, we all learn differently. If you know the things I'm covering already, feel free to work on these challenges right now, and that's how you can challenge yourself. If not, if you have time before you take the exam to go through these challenges, I think that would help, because what these challenges are, they're similar to the scenarios that you might be asked of, or the scenarios that are similar on the exam. Now, are they exactly? They're not, but usually, you know, they have different steps you have to follow on the scenarios for the exam. So feel free here, slide 18 is a challenge. You can look at it right now, or, you know, at the end of the workshop today, tomorrow, or before you take the exam. Okay, and I know a few people have put comments here, some to me privately, and I apologize, I haven't had time to look at those yet. Here on slide 19, again, here's a Chrome browser review. Take a look at these. The multiple profiles and auto updates, up here in the corner, if you don't see the 3 dots, it may say Chrome needs to be updated. So you could update that at any time. And then the multiple Chrome profiles, I was showing you how to, I went to my personal account and my work account. What I've done is I just added people to my Chrome profile so that I have a Chrome profile separate. I have a sample student Chrome profile for to show like Google Classroom and to show the student side of things. I've got my work account, my personal account, and then I'm a school board member, so I have a Google account for that position as well. So I keep them separate. So if anytime I want to go to my work account or my personal account, I come over here and I go to my personal account that way. On a Mac, I can just go up here to people and I can switch back and forth to my people. What I don't do, so right now, do you see my pictures here? This is my Google Chrome profile, and then this is my Google account. I am in my work account, which is in my Google Chrome profile. Can I have other Google accounts in my Chrome profile? I can, but my suggestion is not. I would normally delete these, but I'm just showing you that you can add other Google accounts here, but I'm signed out. The reason why, I didn't understand this at the beginning, and you might not either until it happens to you, but if I'm signed into my personal account under my work Google Chrome profile, what might happen is on the back end, without me knowing, I might open up a document that was shared with me, and I go and look for it later. If I have multiple accounts open here under my work Google Chrome profile, it could have accidentally went into my other Google account. So if I have my personal account open right here and I'm saving something to my drive, it might save it to my work account and not my personal account. So my workaround around that is I make sure I don't have any other Google accounts open under my work Chrome profile. Same thing with my personal account. I have my personal Chrome profile here, and then I've got my Google account, my personal Google account here. My other Google accounts I have, I make sure I am signed out of, or it says the session expired. Normally I would delete these, but again, for this training purposes, I show you this. Again, some people still do it this way, that's fine. The lesson I learned is when I was looking for things and I'm like, I know, I was sounding like one of my students. I know I opened this up and I put it in my Google Drive, but I had multiple accounts open under one Chrome profile and it went to my other account. So again, don't panic if you don't remember or understand what I'm saying right then and there. I can go over it more later with you, but it's like when it happens to you, you realize, oh yeah, what did that lady say during that workshop about the Google accounts? That's when it'll happen, just like with our students. So wanted to share that with you about the multiple profiles. Again, I'm not trying to stress anyone out there. And I think these other things I went over. Oh, reopen a closed tab. Anytime if you close a tab and you're like, oh, why did I close that? How do I get that back open? It's Shift Control T. On a Mac, it's Shift Command T, but if you want to try it, I'm just hitting Shift Control T and it opens up the tab I just had open. You might want to write that down. I know in the beginning it wasn't a shortcut key that I remembered because I didn't use it that much, but I've gotten to use it more and more. So I've got it memorized, but it's, well, I can put it here. It's Shift Control and T. Oh, let me put, okay. I know earlier I showed you about Google Drive. When Rich asked a question, you might not have understood what I was showing. Again, I'm going to go over Google Drive. How do you open up Google Drive? There's multiple ways to do that. You could put your Google Drive as a bookmark on your bookmark bar. You can have it over here in your apps. You can, if I hit the, add a new tab, I can have it here in my shortcuts. If you want it in your shortcuts and it's not there, you can add a shortcut here. Usually these shortcuts, these are the, the apps that I use most often, and Google has an algorithm for it to show up here. Or what I do, once I open up my Google Drive, I pin it, and my Google Drive is something I use multiple times during the day, so I just pin it up here. I can also go over here to my waffle and go to Drive. I can also type in drive.google.com, and if you've done this before, did you see how it started populating the address there for me, and I hit enter. So again, you may be overwhelmed by all of these different ways to do these things, but again, technology helps with differentiation and helps with our brains, because everyone's brain is set up differently, and we might access these different apps in different ways. So, and that is fine. So once I go into my Drive, what my Drive is, it is where everything goes when I am working in my Google apps. So if you look at, a few things here about Drive, if you look at my Drive right here, I've got quick access here. This is some documents that I've been working on most recently, are open. Right underneath here, I've got folders. And then underneath my folders, I've got files. Okay. So you may look at my Drive, it may overwhelm some of you. I've got folders here. So think of this as a file cabinet. And within my file cabinet, I've got, right on top, my quick access. I've got my folders. I can have folders within folders. And I can have all of those files within those folders. Some people might think I have way too many folders. Again, differentiation. If it makes sense to you, it is okay how your Drive is. Some people may think my Drive is a hot mess. If I keep scrolling down, I will tell you it is. I don't have all of my files organized. Some people would go insane and couldn't handle this. So here's files that I've opened up maybe during workshops to show different things, and then I've just never taken time to put them in the correct folder. But whether it's you, your other teachers you work with, or students, everyone's Drive, as long as they know what's in it and how, or as long as they know how to navigate around it, it is fine. So don't be embarrassed or ashamed how your Google Drive is if it's not, if you don't think it's as organized as some of your students even, or your co-teachers or the teachers you work with. So a couple things here. If you look at my folders, I would usually ask, what do you notice about them? So feel free, you can put it in chat or talk to yourself and of what you notice about my folders. So how this is set up is it's ABC order, except a couple things. If you put an emoji here in front of the name of it, it will come first. So I just happened to put an apple in front of my Apple folder. I put a pear in front of this Google's Be Internet Awesome. Again, you can put whatever icon you want. If you can see, I can put it in front. When I put it in front, it goes to the front of my Drive. If I put it at the back of my name, then it doesn't affect the naming convention and the order of my Google Drive. Then after that, then I put numbers. Anything you put numbers will come before ABC order. So if for some reason you need it in descending order, I can click on this arrow over here and put it in descending order. So you can move it around that way. If I've got it by name, I can put it last modified by, whether it was by me or not by me, last opened by me. So you do have, some control over how your Drive looks. If you right click on your Drive here, or excuse me, if you right click on a folder that you've already created, you have all of these options. So some of you might have said to yourself, well, she's got some folders that are colored or that got people in them. So you can share an entire folder with someone. So if I go up here, I'll share this folder. If I hit share, again, I've got the same sharing that I did on my Google Slides when I showed you it shared. Right now, the default is always just to the LTC, or it's restricted. Only people added can open with this link. So if I click on this, and then click on this arrow, I've got anyone with the link, just within people within my domain, or make it restricted. If I put anyone with the link, let me show you that. Whoops. Sorry. This is great. I accidentally hit back, but I went back up to my drive. And then right now I went back to my Google Workshop material folder that I had open. If I want to go back to my main page of Drive, just click on Drive. And voila, I can go back to my Drive here. And that goes to my home page. And then I go back to, I think, was it conferences that I was doing? Right click on it. And when I hit share, I can change this to anyone with the link. And when I do that, I can make them view, or if I give them editing rights, they can organize anything in that folder, they can add anything, and they can edit the files in that folder. So if for some reason I don't want them to mess with things, but I want them to see what's in that folder, if it's another teacher that I'm sharing my work with, I can put view and make them viewer, and then they could make a copy of the items in that folder if they want their own copy, and they can change it how they want, and they're not affecting my documents. So then I can either copy the link and send it out to them there, or I can come up here and add their names and share it this way. Also, you've got a gear here. So here's share with people settings. Again, editors can change permissions and share. So if you share this folder with another teacher and you don't want them to share it with anybody else, you can uncheck this so that they can't change the permissions and share this with someone else. So you do have options over that. Again, you can add this to Shortcut Drive. You can move to, here's how you can change the color. You can rename this. I can search within this folder. I can view the details, and I can download. So again, if I don't have my work in folders, it's fine. I'm going to teach you how you can search there within your drive. So don't panic. Let me go here, and I'm going to just show you how you can turn this off. So I'm just going to turn this off to restricted. Hit done. Oh, I wanted to, okay. So how can you create a new folder right here from Drive? Again, multiple ways. If I right click right here, I can click new folder. I can upload files. I can upload another entire folder, just like Rich asked in the beginning about transferring over PowerPoints, or when he did, he could have uploaded the entire folder of PowerPoints into his Google Drive right from there. I can also come up here to new. So when I'm in Google Drive, again, I get the same options right here. I can even create within my Google Drive, I can create a new Google Docs from here, sheets, slides. If I go to more, I can see all of the different other apps that I have out there that I can access from my Google Drive. So yet another way to access all of these apps here. I can even connect more apps. So, you know, again, if your drive is a hot mess, it is okay. You don't need to be ashamed of that. And if your drive is pristine, organized, everything just the way you want it to be, that's great. Don't make fun of us of our drives that might not be as organized as yours. Do you see where it says search and drive? if I come up here and hit this down arrow, this is my favorite tool here, that I can go to type and it says any. Let's say I know, again, if I click on this down arrow and click on this down arrow here, I know, from the other day I attended that workshop on Google certifications, and I can't remember what it was called. If I go to presentations, and if I know who the owner is, I can put a specific person in. If I don't, I can just search from anyone, or owned by me or not owned by me. And then again, I can search anywhere, or I can even search in my trash, or if I've starred it, I could search that way. Again, I've got other filters here, date modified, item name, all of these different ways I can filter what I'm looking for. So what's nice about this, let me just do a presentation, specific person, and I don't know if she shared anything with me. I'll try. Okay, so here's some slide decks that Elizabeth has shared with me, and I've just searched that way. So again, if I click on, I go back to my drive, or I can do this anywhere, click on this down arrow, I can search within my drive. So again, it is okay if your drive is a hot mess. You've got all of these options here. You can click on learn more to learn more about this. Now, if I do want to get more organized and I have time and I want to put all of these in the folders that I want them in, I can come up here, and do you see this arrow right here next to my drive? If I click on that, that will bring down all of my folders. So if I, this one is a PDF version, so I can put this, I want this to go into my online workshop. So all of these PDF versions, I want to go into my online workshop. So what I can do is I can click on them one by one and hold down the shift key and put that in. Or if I know the first one I want, and I want all 4 of these, if I hold down the shift key, I can select the first one and the last one I want in there, and it highlights all of them. So if I have multiple files, it will do that. I could also just put my cursor here and drag and drop, or highlight that way. Maybe I have to do it from up here. From up here, let's say I wanted all of these documents in a certain folder, I can highlight that way. And it's got all 6 of these. And I can put them over here. So again, if I highlight one, I want this one all the way to this one. Hold down the shift key, highlight the last one, and then grab one of them. Do you see in the upper right-hand corner, it says 4? It's telling me there's 4 files that I am going to move over to my online workshops. And then it's saying, hey, they're moving from Drive to online workshops. I've got, I don't know, maybe 10 seconds or so here to undo that. If I don't want that to happen, I can undo it, and it comes right, it goes back into just my drive. So again, that's a quick and easy way if you want to organize your drive, but your drive doesn't have to be organized. It's personal preference that you can search for things, search within your drive up here. So if I don't want all of my folders right here, just click on this down arrow, and then I've got that. It just closes it back up. But if I want it back, I could just click on this arrow and it puts the list there. Shared drives, these are drives that people have shared with me. Maybe your school district have put documents out there to share with you. Here's shared with me. Now, if you think your drive or my drive was a hot mess, wait until you go with shared with me. The only way to organize all of the stuff that was shared with you is by adding it to your drive. Again, I'm sorry, I don't take the time. I don't know of many people out there who do take the time and add everything that's shared with them to their drive. Again, just know that you can come up here and search within the shared with me to find the things that were shared with you. So things that are shared with you in your drive are things that you might open up by links or websites out there that you click on, and then it's added to your drive. So sometimes, as you can see, there might be multiple things in here. I can go through and I can still delete them. If you look right here, I can come up here and add the shortcut to my drive, so then I can organize it within my drive. But normally, I just leave it in my shared with me, and I can just search from my shared with me drive. The recent documents that I've been working on are right here. Shows what I worked on or looked at today, yesterday, and if you keep scrolling down, it's like last week, and then keep scrolling down. If you go to starred, what I put in starred are things that I use frequently. So my online workshops folder, I come over here to starred, I open that up from there, then it saves me a little time for me scrolling down in my drive to find it. Trash, some people actually put things in trash and they never empty their trash. So if you want your trash emptied, you can just hit up empty up here. If not, things stay in there until you empty it. It says over here I've used about 4 gigabytes of my Google Drive. If you're new again to Google, in your education account, you have unlimited storage. So you never have to worry about how much storage you're using in your Google education account. If in your personal account, I think I've had my personal account for over 10 years, and I've got 3 gigabytes of 15 gigabytes used. You can buy more if you need, if you're using it for some reason and you need to. I know some people have had up to 17 gigabytes and hadn't had to pay. And this is on their personal account. But on your education account, you have unlimited. And then I'll talk about this priority. I've tried this a couple times. I guess maybe back in January I tried it and I haven't used it. But I can create a workspace. So here, when I was working on this workshop for Bloomington, I created a slide deck, and then I had some other files here I put right there. I was working from that, so that was all in one place. Could you use this, and do people use it? Yeah, all they have to do is hit create and name your workspace, and then you put your workshop materials here, or whatever you're working on all together here. I can rename it, I can hide it, I can remove it. If I view my workspace, here's where I can add more files to it so that they're all in one place. So again, yet another way to organize. Is one way better than the other? It's whatever works for you and how your brain functions the best. Over here to the right, I don't know if you see, I can access my calendar. Just like a little snippet here. Off to the right side, I can also go to Google Keep. Again, if you don't know much about Google Keep, if we have time tomorrow, I'll talk about Google Keep. And then also there's tasks. I can add tasks here that I need to do for the day or the week or whatever. Again, I started to use tasks a lot, and then for me, it was just yet another place to remember to look, and I've stopped using it. But it's, again, another way it might help you be organized. So I don't know if you saw when I was in my drive, when I'm clicked on the folders or a file, I have some other functions and icons up here. These same things I can get to by right-clicking on the folder. So remember, the person in the folder means that that folder's been shared. The color, again, is just a way to organize. The color might help some of you. And you might also see, as you start using Google apps and other apps that play nicely with Google, on the back end, they will create folders in here. So if you see this classroom folder here, I didn't create that folder. That folder was created when I first started creating my classrooms. So my classrooms here are the classes that I created in Google Classroom. And then on the back end, Google created these folders for me. So sometimes when you see, when you add extensions or add-ons, they may say that they need access to your Google Drive. This is why. Again, the Screencastify workshop, or the extension, the Screencastify, it on the back end created this folder here for me. Screencastify Submit is something new that Screencastify is coming out with. And again, on the back end, it created that folder for me. I didn't have to do that. So again, these tech tools are supposed to make your life easier. Is your life easier right now? It may not be. Don't panic. It does take time to learn all of this stuff. And the more you use it, the better you'll get at it. And you'll think, wow, you've came a long way. So hopefully even within this short 3-hour workshop today, you've already learned some things and that you can remember and maybe use, whether it's in your personal life or back with your own teachers or students after today's workshop. If I go back to the slide deck here, let me show you about uploading and converting files then as well. If I'm back in my drive, if I go to new, this is, you know, where I showed you earlier how to do a new folder, but you could go to file upload. So if you've got files that are in other places that aren't in your Google Drive, or, you know, they're in Microsoft, you can upload them. Sometimes even on the back end, if your district is switching over from Microsoft to Google, your Google admin might only want to do a one-time deal, but they could, on the back end, switch everything from your whatever drive it is at your school all the way over to your Google Drive without you having to do that. So that would be worth a conversation, because that would, again, save you time. But anywhere your files are located, just go to where your files are located, and then you can then upload a file, or you can even upload a folder, a whole entire folder of documents. Just know that the more documents you have, the longer it may take to upload. And you just go and select what you have and then hit upload. Or, you know, select it, hit open, and then it goes. Another thing here, again, the gear, I touched on this when Rich asked about it earlier. If you go to settings, you can convert your uploads. It's uploaded files to Google Docs editor format. It saves about 3 steps for you if you want everything converted over to Google Docs. Some people don't, that's fine. Just make sure that you don't have that checked. So you can work with, within Google Drive, you can have Microsoft documents in here. You can be offline, have offline access. And then you also have these, I could make my priority over here, my default home page. I don't, again, because I tried to use it, but again, I haven't gone back to use it. Make relevant files handy when you need them in quick access. That's this right here. So if I don't like that, I can turn that off, and you see that goes away. Again, you do have some choice in how you want your drive to look. So again, covered a lot about Drive. The more you use it, the more you work with it, hopefully the better you will get at it. So Raquel, how are we doing on questions here?
There's been a couple, but I didn't know the answers.
Okay. Do you mind, without me going through chat, do you mind asking them it?
Yeah. Is there a way to filter images so certain things won't pop up?
Okay. Great question. So filtering images here, you can have safe search on. do you see right here on the right-hand side, my safe search is on? So sometimes districts, I think, can push this out within your education accounts. But if you go to settings, so I just went to Google and, you know, I just went up to a new tab. I just typed in Cathedral of Notre Dame, go into settings. Here, I can turn safe search on. I've also got advanced search, search activity. You can look at data in your search. So again, here under settings, it's not the gear, it's just the word settings. There's a lot of other things on that you can manipulate as well. So give that a try to see. I'm trying to think if there was any other way. And then usually, you know, through your school account, they have filtering to hopefully filter out any inappropriate pictures as well. But great question.
Okay. There's another one. It says, mine only shows the last 3 docs that I had open. Can I customize that? So I'm assuming in the drive. That question was about the drive.
Okay, can you say that again? Do you mind, Raquel?
Yeah, it says mine only shows the last 3 docs that I had open. Can I customize that?
So it's
Probably in the quick access.
quick access. I don't know of a way in quick access. If anything, go back to recent. And here on recent, this shows everything that I've opened today and yesterday. So see if that works under recent, but under the quick access, the only thing you can customize is whether you turn that on or off that I'm aware of. Could there be another way out there? There may be. If anybody knows, feel free to chime in now or Google it, let us know, or put it in chat as well.
Yeah, those were the only 2 then. The only 2 questions. Unless someone else has some.
Okay. All right. Well, we will move on. Thank you, Raquel. And thanks for asking the questions. And we will move on then here to Google Docs. How are we doing on time? Okay. So we got about a half hour left. So with Google Docs, again, I've got this, this tool, this doc out there I can share with you if you guys want to enter information. I don't think I put it on there, but I can do that real quick. I'm just checking my link here, my sharing. Anyone on the internet with this link can edit, so that's perfect. Again, if I wanted to change that, if I didn't want you to edit, I just go to change and I can change that right here to view or comment. But no, I want you guys to edit this. I'll copy link here. I'm going to hit done. And let me go back over to the slide deck. Let me just put this here. I'll just put tech tools and then I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to hit insert link, or I put Command K, and then I can paste the link there. I hit Command V, but yours would be Control V if you're on a Chromebook or a Windows device. Hit apply. If you refresh your slide deck, you should be able to access this tech tools document. And kind of like with Google Slides, you know, people have access to it. So, okay, we've got someone already who's accessed it and they're a hamster. Same thing, you got your anonymous animals. Why? Because I shared this link to you through the slide deck and I didn't share it through your Google account. Normally when you're in with the school setting and you're sharing things with students or other teachers, you'll know who's editing it or who's viewing it by their icon up here. So again, if anybody wants to practice about inserting a selfie, they can here. They don't have to. If you want to put your name, again, contact information, a favorite tech tool that you have out there and the use of it, feel free. You can kind of see how we're interacting with this document, kind of similar to how we interacted with Google Slides. What's nice about this Google document then, I really loved having a shared Google Doc during staff meetings. Why? Because then on here we can see who's going to do what. Because how many times are you in a staff meeting, people say, oh, they'll do something, and then you go back the next week to the staff meeting again, nothing was done, and you're like, oh, I forgot I needed to do that. So if for some reason, you know, someone makes a comment or needs to say something, they can just highlight something on the page, come over here and add a comment. And when they add the comment, they can say, you know, oh, maybe take notes or whatever it may be, and then comment. Or they may say, oh, I like this too, whatever it may be. Then another thing when they add comments, so let me go ahead and add another comment here. I don't know, will it let me add a comment right here? Let me edit this one. So take notes, and let me say that Jessica, if Jessica doesn't mind, I've got her email address there, and I want her to take notes on this. What this is going to do is it's going to send a message to her that she, if I hit save, then she should get a link and an email address as well, saying that something's been assigned to her. So I've assigned this to Jessica, whether it's, you know, here I just put take notes, or if it's something she needs to do after the staff meeting. And then she can reply. And I know with Jessica, from being from District 87, they have, I don't know if she's using a personal email right now, but usually I know District 87 has it locked down where they can't share outside of their district. So I don't know if she will get this on her email with District 87 if she wants to make a comment maybe where she's writing, or unmute and let us know. Okay, so she's able to then say hi. Now, has anybody else tried? Can you reply to this comment? Can you make comments on this comment? Can you come up here and click on the 3 dots and edit this or delete it? Can you resolve it? Feel free, you're not going to hurt anything. If you want to click on anything, it'll be fine. It's how we learn. But I will tell you this, with this comment section, sometimes kids find ways, this is how they chat with each other. They share a Google Doc and then they think, oh, we can just chat back and forth with using comments. Well, again, Big Brother's always watching. So if for some reason they went in and deleted this or they resolved this, I'm just going to hit resolve right now. Where did it go? If they come up here to the comment, they can open comment history and see it. They can even reopen it if they would like to. So then you can see it, and it shows that Lisa marked it as resolved, and then Lisa also reopened it. But you can kind of see it there. And then again, here you can see, since I'm sharing this with you guys as anonymous viewers, we can't see this, but again, if you are sharing this through their Google account, you'll be able to see who's working on this and when. So right now it says me this morning, and then it would show all of you here if I shared it with you through your Google accounts. But what's nice, if you want someone, you know, you want to, like if I want to respond here to Kate, she talks about the QR code extension. If I want to make a comment about that, I can, you know, put that comment back to Kate. Again, if she's within my domain, it would bring up her email and I can click on it. If not, for the first time, or someone outside of my Google domain or that I haven't emailed before, I would have to type in her email here. But then she should get, okay. So it's saying, hey, assign it to Kate. Yep, I want to assign it to her. And then I can put a comment, or if I want her to follow up, hey, can you expand on this? So this is how you communicate with a shared document if there's multiple people on it, and assign them either, you know, a comment here or for them to do something else. So then if I hit assign, then she should get an email as well. So it's assigned, as you can see, it shows assigned, and then once she's done with it, she can mark as done or hide the discussion. Again, I think any of you could click on that as well, whoever's with this document. So
Lisa, could you share that? Could you copy that URL and put it in the chat?
oh, I sure
Please.
can. Yeah, thank you so much.
Some people haven't gotten to it.
Yeah, and I forgot. Thank you. See, this is why I love having co-teachers, or how Raquel and other people have stepped up. Whoops, I just sent it to you, Raquel, privately. Let's see.
And then could you please review how to set it as assigned as opposed to just making a comment?
Yeah,
Please.
great question. Thanks for asking. So, yeah, I don't know if I explained that well. And see, that's why another reason I love questions. So, okay, so I'm seeing Jennifer typing in boom cards. I've learned about boom cards the last couple of weeks. I still have a lot to learn, but what I've learned so far, it's been fun. Maybe Jennifer can, I don't know if you've made any boom cards, you can maybe share that with us as well. So if I wanted, you know, we weren't doing this workshop and I saw this and I saw Jennifer added boom cards and I wanted to respond to her. So what I could do, I could hit the plus sign, or I could hit the @ symbol. It does the same thing. And then I could type in her name or her email address. So do you see when I hit the @ symbol or plus sign, people I've emailed a lot most recently, here it shows them. If someone's not there that I haven't emailed, you know, right now, like for example, Nicole, we've been emailing back and forth. She just passed her Google Level 1 certification exam. So she did this workshop earlier in May, and she just let me know this weekend she passed. So if I wanted to assign something to her, you know, I can, if her email comes up, I can. If not, I've been just typing in your emails here. I can assign it to her, put a message here. She'll get an email saying something was assigned to her, and then she can have access to this document as well. But yeah, great question. I don't think I explained to hit the plus sign or the @ symbol if you want to make a comment and you want to assign something to someone that is on this shared document, or if someone who isn't on the shared document. Okay, so Jessica just told us she did get the email. It did come through. Yeah, what I find sometimes it takes 10 to 15 minutes for the email to come through when you assign things, or at least in these workshops, that's what it's been taking. So I love how people are filling this out. And thank you for the people who said that you needed the link in the chat. And Raquel, thanks for saying that as well. So do you have to fill this out? No, but here you're getting a sense of how you can collaborate with people from across the world, not just within Illinois, and how your students could maybe even collaborate with other people, especially during the time of remote learning. But when we get back in the classroom, how they can communicate with people from other countries or other states, or other cities here within Illinois. So let me go back here to the slide deck. Oh, and my apologies. I put Tech Tools on the Google Drive. Let me just cut that and then I'll put it here. I didn't catch that. So that was, you know, direct comments to specific users. The other thing here then within Google Docs, you've got, there's a couple things I wanted to show. Same thing with hyperlinks. You know, what I did here, I created a hyperlink of this insert learning extension. All I did was highlight. So if I'm on, is it Miss Fisher or Mrs. Fisher here from Tri-Valley? If you want to say how to say your first name, I don't want to mess it up here. But if she wanted to do the hyperlink to quizzes, all she would have to do is highlight quizzes and go to insert link. And then I could paste the link or search right here for the link. I will tell you, I usually have the link ready to go, but you can search right here. So here, I didn't have the link for quizzes. And if I want to hyperlink it to quizzes, hit apply, and I've linked that there. Again, I don't mean to, I didn't mean to do that to your work. So if you want to do that, you can. But then, so when people are on this shared document, they don't have to open up a new tab. They can just click on the link, and it then opens up the new tab for them to learn about insert learning. They don't have to go search for it. So anytime you have a link there, do you see, you can copy this link if you want, you can edit it, or you can remove the link. So I'm going to remove it, but do you see how you can even edit other people's work on the shared document? Another thing here, so, you know, if students are doing research, or even, you know, today you've learned that it's nice to have a split screen, or once you have 2 monitors, you can't function without the 2 monitors, or at least I can't. It's nice to, you know, have 2 different things up. If I've got some material over here I'm reading, and if I'm working on the document over here, having 2 monitors, or having, if I have, you know, split screens. But if I come down here to explore, again, I can come down here to explore, or go up here to tools and go to explore. And what explore does is it lets you search right off to the side of your screen and not opening up a new tab. So if I was doing research on, let's say, Abe Lincoln, I can search right here for Abe Lincoln. What it does, it searches the web for me. I can look at images, or I can even search within my drive. So, you know, here's the information from Wikipedia here. And then if I keep going down, I've got some more information from other websites. And let's say, you know, I do want to get information from the White House website. It does open it up in a new tab for me. And then I can get information from there. Now, let's say this is, you know, I have to cite my information. What I can do, I can cite this as a footnote. Watch this. When I click on the quotes here, it puts the citation there for me. Now, you have choices it'll do, I think, APA, MLA, and Chicago. If you look, I have my cursor right after the word quizzes. So it's going, the footnote number is going to go there, 1, and here's 1. If I come back over here to where it says web results, and I go to these 3 dots, I've got the MLA, APA, or Chicago. So MLA is the default, but if I needed the different format, I can go ahead and change it to one of these 3. So that saves time for you and your students for this citing it as a footnote. Again, if I want to pull in an image from here, all I have to do is, you know, click on the image, and I think I clicked on it, but if I want to insert it, I just hit the plus sign and it will insert it for me right in the document where I want to. Again, I can go ahead over here to Drive and search in my Drive anything that I have named or has Abe Lincoln in it. So that's the Explore function. I know earlier we talked about the voice typing. So let me go ahead and delete this footnote here. So if I go up here to Tools, I've got the voice typing. And so again, wherever my cursor is, let me put my cursor down here so I'm not messing anybody's up. And I turn on voice typing, go to Tools, voice typing. So here's voice typing. When I want it to record my voice, I click here to speak. So it's red. So everything I say, it is typing. When I want it to be done, all I have to do is then click the microphone and then it turns it off. But it's kind of like if you use, you know, text messaging, you do voice. If you use your voice for your text messaging, you know, if you say period, it will put a period in there for you. So it's just like anything, you know, I always taught the kids that go back in and then proof to, you know, to put your capitalizations or put your periods, or, you know, you still need to proof it. But my youngest son is 13, and with this remote learning and with him needing to do more typing, he's not the best typist. So I taught him about this voice typing, and it made a world of difference. Now, what we did do with, he had to create some Google Slides. Well, we created a Google Doc, and he did the voice typing on Google Doc, and then he just copied and pasted it over to Google Slides. But what we did find, I think you can voice type speaker notes, and I'm trying to remember how. Okay, yeah, right here under Tools, voice type speaker notes. So what I learned is you don't have to open up a Google Docs to do voice typing. If you have to create a Google Slides, he could do voice typing in speaker notes. Same thing, turn it on. Everything he says is in the Google Notes. Then when he's done, turn it off, and then he could copy and paste this up into his slide deck. So I learned that after the fact, and that just goes to show you there's all these different ways to do the same thing. So do what works for you, do what works for what you know at that time. Okay, let's see. Inserting hyperlinks. So to insert hyperlinks, you can insert it, you know, just highlight whatever you want the hyperlink on. You can come up here, insert link, or, you know, do your shortcut keys. You can have your link there, or as you saw earlier with the quizzes, I could just link it right then from the search. Oh, one other thing for providing feedback, what you could do, right now we're just editing this document, but if this was a student document and I put some comments here, but sometimes students want to see, you know, some of the other suggestions here. If I come right here where it says editing mode, I can go to suggesting mode. And what the suggesting mode does, let's say I need a student that I'm suggesting, oh, maybe you should delete this. So if I highlight that and hit delete, it won't actually delete it on the student's document. It'll just say, hey, your teacher's saying delete, that no one. I could also put a comment here, and then they can then reply back. If the student wants to, they could accept the suggestion. If they want to reject it, they just hit the X. So accept it by hitting the check mark, rejecting it by hitting the X. And that was the, you know, here we've got editing, suggesting, and viewing modes. Again, if you come over here to file, there's just so much out there. You know, if you want to, if you're a newbie to Google Drive and Google Docs, you know, you can Google some information. I do have other workshops out there, and you can go to the YouTube channel to look at the other workshops that that I covered on Google Drive and Docs. But can make a copy. You can download a Google Docs to a Word document, a PDF. So different things here. You can email this as an attachment, version history. So it's like anything. You have all of these tools up there available to you. You know what you need to know to do the assignment or to do what you need to do. Again, we've got add-ons here. Google Docs, there's an add-on for the Magic Rainbow Unicorn. So there's other add-ons out there. Again, you look for things that you need at the time. I will tell you, one add-on I'm looking for and I couldn't find. Of course, if I had more time, I would maybe try to learn how to create an add-on. But I put this table in Google Docs. I wanted an add-on that would number each row for me, like in a spreadsheet, so that if I had students assigned, you know, if each student had a number, I could say, okay, you know, number one always goes to number one, number two, number two. In this case, you guys did a great job picking a row that no one else was in. But I hope whether it's from this shared document today or the slide deck, that you can get to know other people that are in this workshop. You can see what other things they suggest, what other things they're using, and learn from this. Again, hopefully we haven't overwhelmed you about learning about some of these Google tools. But again, our main goal for today and tomorrow is prepping you for the exam if you are interested in taking the exam. Do I have people who take these workshops that aren't interested in taking the exam? There are plenty of people, educators who do, but the feedback I get from them is we go too fast over these apps. But I've got, you know, unless if I made this a 9 or 12-hour workshop, this was just the prep. What I've done out there is I've had other workshops and still have other workshops that go into these a deeper dive than what we've done today. If you look at slides 22 through 25, these are some challenges. Again, do you have to do these? You don't. They're there if you want to get ready to prep yourself for the exam, or just to see, hey, what do I know? What don't I know? If you look here, I didn't talk about, you know, clicking on a document and saving it to your Google Drive. So again, if you have time today, feel free to go through some of these challenges, and tomorrow, if you guys have questions for me over these challenges, we can start off with asking the questions in the beginning. I think if you want to, if anybody wants to get on, I usually try to be on the Zoom meeting at least 10 minutes beforehand. So you can get on early too to ask questions as well. I will stay on a little bit after today for questions as well. As you can see, if you look back at this slide deck, we'll have a lot to cover tomorrow in our 3 hours together, but I think we can get through it. And again, I'll put in a break there, but you can see through this slide deck what else we'll cover. And feel free, if you've got time today, tonight, tomorrow, before we get back together, feel free to look at this slide deck, and hopefully you've got some of your questions answers you came here with today, and you've got maybe more questions. So I do want to respect your time. I know it's noon right now, so if you need to get off, please feel free to get off. If people want to stay on and get some of those questions answered that some of you had at the very beginning, or maybe had as we went throughout this morning, please stay on and unmute yourself and you can ask away.
Hi, Lisa. I'm just trying to sign the sign-in sheet, and it doesn't have my co-op listed, and I can't type in what it is.
Okay. So yeah, thank you, Kate. And I see a lot of people in chat. There's some other schools that aren't listed as well. So let me see if I can go in and put other in there, and then you can add that in there. I was hoping they did that while I was doing the workshop, but if you still don't have access, Kate, then I don't think they've added other to that.
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah, no, I don't. You're not the only one. So
Okay,
let me
thank
see.
you.
Yeah. I will stop sharing my screen and I will try to find that right now. I am going to also stop the recording as well.